with me here on the couch. I don't know who's counseling who here, Barry, but actually this is a pretty big night for you for celebration. You probably want like 3 donuts tonight.
I'll force myself to be on the diet.
Oh, you will? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a night for some sort of celebration, and I don't think it's going to be cough drops like I'm having. So let me ask you, the victories are huge and bigger than predicted by just about anyone. What can you tell us about those that was unexpected, really, by even some of the most savvy of news reporters?
Right. As we discussed a few minutes ago, Gina, I had the privilege of spending an hour with Frank Luntz a couple weeks ago, and we went state by state and went over the predictions of all the pollsters. The pollsters are being blown out by what's happened, not only in New York, but the 5 states tonight. Trump is now halfway through the delegate count from the 5 states that he took tonight on a 6-state crush streak.
Yes.
He's beaten the polls in every one of those states, and he's exceeding the expectations of even his own supporters. As we talked about a minute ago, if the returns stay as they are, he's going to win every single county in Pennsylvania. That's never been done before, except in primaries where the other candidates have already dropped out. Early in the day, it got so bad that Cruz and Kasich left all of the 5 states, gave up, and went west, trying to stop him in Indiana or maybe California. Trump is winning much bigger than everybody supposed, and there is some serious momentum building for his candidacy after tonight. Definitely.
Now, I said to you on the break, do you think this has to do with the alliance? Because I heard from a lot of Cruz supporters that said, I've been with Cruz the whole time, or I've been on the fence between Cruz and Trump. Their minds were made. A lot of people shifted when the alliance happened between Cruz and Kasich. People just felt like that was funky monkey business, and they weren't into that, and it didn't seem like the kind of politics they wanted, at least not at this point in the game where it's gotten very serious. I think people can kind of do the whole excuse it, politics is politics at a certain point, and then that kind of stops when it's about people's actual votes and it's about kind of undermining the process. And I think people didn't like that. You said no. Why?
I think there's 3 things about the alliance. First of all, it just happened yesterday. I think, number one, it shows that Cruz and Kasich have given up winning by the convention. It's a surrender, and it's defend at all costs. They're trying to save their lives politically at this point. Number 2, what's really happening is exactly what Trump predicted in the very beginning. The insiders are aligned against me. Nobody can say Kasich is an outsider. He's been in politics forever.
Right.
Cruz is an insider inside the Beltway in the Senate, and before that as a major federal attorney. They have now bonded together, and Trump is saying, see, I told you they don't want me to win. This is stop Trump at any cost. Number 3, I think what it really says is Trump's been right. He's the winner. He's the outsider. And these people will lose the election if necessary just to stop Trump. And today, I think what's happened in the 5 states is voters have said, enough's enough. Yes, it is collusion. In business, you can't do it. In politics, it's legal.
Right.
But people don't like it. It's putting a really bad taste in the voters' mouth, yeah. I think.
I agree. So what do you think caused this? Because you mentioned early voting, that some of these voters were early voters. They didn't know about the collusion, if you will. Some of these people didn't even know about the last few weeks of politics while they were voting. So what do you think really sealed it for Trump in these kinds of numbers? I mean, almost 65%, if I'm not mistaken, in Pennsylvania. He may win every single county. They have all of those extra delegates that go to the winners. That wasn't supposed to happen.
No, it wasn't.
The highest estimates I heard were like 50% for Trump.
Right.
Yeah.
I think what's really curious, you go back to New York. New Yorkers really know the guy. He's been the front page of the New York Post every week for, I don't know, 20 years.
Yeah.
And for the rest of the country, we're out in California and know him through the media. We look at him with a certain bemusement. New Yorkers know him. They really like him. They may have a problem with the way he communicates, but they really like him. They like his success. They like his truthfulness. They like the fact that he says what he's going to do and he does what he says.
Yeah.
And the East Coasters know him as well. Up and down the East Coast, that's where his popularity is coming from, because they really know the guy. I think if he can capitalize that as he moves forward, in the campaign and it becomes Trump versus Clinton, which now seems inevitable, with a certain proviso about the convention, I think that's his strong suit. Tell people what I've done and what I'm going to do for the country, and it's going to be a really interesting November.
I think it is going to be a really interesting November. What are your predictions going forward? He makes it to 1237 easily?
No, not easily. The math, if you break it down, comes down to 2 states at this point. Indiana, and we get to play in California.
Can you believe it?
For the first time in a millennium. California is going to decide this. Honestly, for the first time in decades.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be easy. I think if the momentum from tonight carries into Indiana and New Jersey and then comes to California, and as you pointed out, Gina, if he picks up all the free agent delegates out of Pennsylvania, which he very well could by sweeping all the counties, he could make it by the convention. And the predictions of just a couple weeks ago of being short by 50 or 75 or 100, he might be at 1,300 by the convention, and then it's over. The really interesting news of the week is this alliance, because what it says is Ted Cruz gave up, Kasich gave up, and I predict the real wild card is nobody we've talked about yet. It's the Marco Rubio delegates. Don't forget, Marco Rubio quit 3 months ago, and he's still got 169 delegates. He's in 3rd place. Kasich has only collected 1 state.
Yep.
Rubio is going to be the kingmaker.
All right, we have to leave it there.